Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome back to the Meredith Patterson Podcast. I'm your host, Meredith, and today's episode is one that is going to inspire you, move you, remind you of the strength that we all carry inside. Because my guest today is the radiant Elly Brown, a singer, actress, model, host, and cancer survivor whose story is nothing short of extraordinary. Elly's journey has taken her from her earliest dreams of performing through an unexpected battle with oral cancer to a remarkable new chapter of resilience, authenticity, and joy. In this conversation, we'll talk about her dreams, her determination, her tenacity, and how she continues to live with grace and purpose, even after facing some of life's greatest challenges. So let's dive into her powerful story of courage, authenticity, and the importance of protecting your peace. Welcome to the podcast, Elly.
Hi, Mer. It's so great to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am so happy to have you. And it's so great to get to know you because we don't know each other in real life yet. But
Right?
the moment that we talked, which we spoke on the phone, I just felt like you're a kindred spirit. And you just are an artist that, I think with all the women in my life, you would be one of the women in my life that would just be, and you will be, because we're going to be friends after this.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
are entering our friendship, and everyone who's listening is getting a little bit of that. That's going to be part of the journey. But I feel
Yeah.
like we're kindred spirits.
I feel exactly the same way. When we spoke the first time, I felt like, gosh, if this woman lived in my area, I would be with her all the time. And we'd be talking on the phone and borrowing a cup of sugar and doing all the things.
Exactly. So I'm so excited for the audience to get to know you, for me to get to know you a little better, and for us just to connect on just your incredible spirit. So let's
So
just start at
kind.
the beginning. Let's start at the beginning because you are an incredible artist. You're an incredible singer and just a beauty inside and out. So what was the very first dream of your life?
Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. We're going way back. I love it.
Good question. Yeah.
When I was 6 years old, my sister was in her high school production of The Tim and I. You know that show, The Tim and I.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they needed kids for that production. And so at that tender age, I think I was in first grade, I started tagging along with her to the theater and going to rehearsals and imagining that life. And honestly, it was all over for me at that point. I loved theater. I love it. I love everything about it. And my relationship with theater and art has changed a lot since I was a kid. You know, when you're a kid, you love all the superficial aspects of it. The validation, being on stage and getting the applause and being praised and all of that. And as you grow as a human being and an artist, you sort of come to really love the quiet things about it, the thought processes, and the way it informs how you live your life, and the way it helps you say what you want to say in another way.
Yeah.
So definitely, when you were giving my intro, I just loved and appreciated so much that you even refer to me as an artist, because I think most of my life I've really thought of myself as like an entertainer, and it's been incredible realizing even post treatment that the things that certainly made me feel like an artist never went away, and in fact were maybe enriched by everything that happened to me.
Yeah. And I think, well, you are an artist. So that is who you are. That's who your spirit is. And I think that first introduction to theater, we all have those moments, those pivotal moments when we remember so palpably how we went, okay, that's it. This is it. This is it. This is my life. And boom, here we go. And I always say, no matter what level you happen to perform at, this is people all over the world and whoever's listening, you know what it feels like to express yourself in that way. And when you go through something like what you went through, with oral cancer and all of that, it doesn't change who you are on the inside. So you are still that person. That's how I see you as we're getting to know each
Thank
other.
you. That is so
But
kind. Thank you.
you're welcome. And I wonder because I am an artist as well. I am a singer and an actress and have not modeled. I've seen some of your beautiful pictures and how just, incredibly how you have, represented yourself in the world. But I know my biggest fear was always as a dancer to have something shift, have something happen to me that would then change my ability or my identity.
Mhm.
And you have seemingly from, again, it's a curated life on social media and all of that, but you have seemingly gone through it with such grace. But I want to go back, if that's okay, to the beginning of those whispers of something's wrong.
Mhm.
Because if there's somebody out there listening who is feeling that their body's giving them a message,
Mhm.
I want you to take us through that journey of how did you first notice something was going on?
Good. I would say in high school, I went to a dentist appointment in my very small town, and the dentist, she was a nice lady. She said, "There's a white area on the side of your tongue, and that's not uncommon, but keep an eye on it." And so I kept an eye on it, and I noticed over the years that it began to erode a bit. And I remember I was working on a cruise ship. It was right around 9/11, and I remember going to the ship's doctor because that area was becoming more and more painful. They did not know what it was. That was definitely above their pay grade at the ship doctor
Yeah, yeah.
setup that we had there for cruise ships. But they said when you're back on land, go to an oral surgeon. So I was on contract and traveling a bit, and I put it off for a while. And then I think that 3 years went by. Because, I felt pain, but it wasn't horrible. It was just there. It was just sort of there. And in 2004, finally got in front of a surgeon who diagnosed it as lichen planus. Now, lichen planus, it's an autoimmune disorder. And for some people, it manifests on their skin. But for me, it was manifesting right on the side of my tongue. So he said, there's not really anything we can do. Keep an eye on it. Now, this went on for years, years. And I remember having one oral surgeon in Las Vegas shortly after I moved there. He was sort of this hotshot guy. And I remember him looking in my mouth and being like, yeah, he had no bedside manner. He said, yeah, this is the worst lichen planus I've ever seen. Worst I've ever seen. Looks really bad. Don't know. Don't know. Keep an eye on it.
And
What
this
does
is where
that
I
even
go.
mean?
This is
Yeah.
so let me just back up because 9/11, that's 2001 and
Mhm.
3 years you didn't get it looked at, but you had a little bit of
Mhm.
pain. So it was like a little whispers were going on with your body. And then this is where I always say like little whispers turn into like, bricks against your head if you don't take care of it. But
Yeah.
you're going to the doctor and they're telling you, well, we're not really sure. This is the worst we've ever seen, but I don't know. They're giving you nothing to do.
Yeah. They said avoid spicy food, don't go overboard with alcohol, things that irritate it. But other than that, there's nothing to do. And so I thought, okay, well, I tried an autoimmune diet and I cut out nightshades and it was really hard. A full-on autoimmune diet, a true autoimmune diet is a very restricted diet.
Yeah.
And I'm already a underweight person. And I knew if I got sick, it could be really bad. And so I chose to eat. And, I tried to cut out the main things, but I couldn't go on a full-on
No,
plant
it's
soup
a
diet.
yeah, that's the autoimmune diet. My mom did it for a while because she had arthritis and inflammation and things, and
It's
it was
tough.
so difficult to the point where you try to do it and then you sabotage it because you can't take it because there's just like there was no and there's no like there's like meals you can mail and all that stuff now, but it also wasn't what was going on. That's what's amazing is that you're focusing on trying everything you can based on this diagnosis that's not accurate. So
Well, it was accurate, but I think what happened was 20 years of it went by, and then one day I'm at a neurosurgeon in Las Vegas. I didn't have insurance at that time. I was paying out of pocket. And he was a new guy, and he reached into my mouth with his gloved hand and salt, and he said the words we never want to hear. Oh, I don't like the feel of that. That looks bad. I don't like that. And he said, I remember the first time I saw him was right before the year had flipped over. He said, go home and get insurance right now. Just get it. Figure it out. Come back and see me in January. And I did it. And he biopsied me then in January.
wow.
And I'm so glad I did exactly. I went home and I got the best insurance I could because I knew I was in, I knew. I hoped. But
But you knew
anyway,
something at that point. This is where going back to your body's telling you something's wrong and you're because it's so scary and so you don't know and then also like you just mentioned as artists we sometimes don't have insurance because of our
hmm
job and it's
hmm
something that we have to take care of on our own. We don't have anybody helping us with that, so that's a whole other podcast in itself.
yeah,
But that fear of really knowing what it is or actually knowing, okay, I know what this is and we got to face it. 'Cause that had
yeah.
been
And
what year was that in January when you went back and he biopsied you?
um, 2016 was when I first saw him. He biopsied me at the beginning of 2017. It was cancer at that point. That was the culmination of over 20 years of inflammation in that area. And really, I, although I was devastated, I wasn't surprised because I had always sort of known that this thing was hanging out in my body. And reducing inflammation in the body, especially when you feel like you're at the peak of your career, things are happening, you're stressed, you're active, you're engaged, a lot falls by the wayside.
Yeah,
And I don't think I took that inflammation seriously enough. But I am so happy that in some way I was forced to do it. And there's very few people in the world that know and study and work with life implanters, but I was lucky enough to get a surgeon that was one of those men.
yeah,
And Elliot Abermeyer, he took out my tumor eventually. Now that was a year later in 2018, after 1 year of trying to deal with my medical issues in Las Vegas, which if you live in Las Vegas and you have big medical issues, drop what you're doing and go to UCLA. Drop what you're doing and go to UCLA
yeah.
because nothing is worth the cost of your life. And if I had waited there, I would be dead. If I had let that. Oh, hello, my dog.
Your dog is behind you, which I love. I love my dog. My dog is in the other room, but, I agree with you in terms of that advice. So that was my next question. What advice would you give yourself back then? Would you have? Because I feel like you were addressing it, but you were getting really nothing holistic to do? Because I always want something tangible to do. I don't want people to say, "Oh, well, sorry, that's your age," or "This is something that." I go,
Yeah,
"No,
no,
what can I actively do?"
yeah. You want routines. You want activities that tell your brain and your body we're doing something to take care of this.
Yeah.
Even those little rituals and routines, they affect your mental state and the way you think about your health. Um, I I was gonna say something about I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's
It was
okay.
something about treatment. I remember now. At that time, I did not know how to advocate for myself. And I was so, so lucky to have a partner who would not let me accept the bare minimum. Because I was ready to stay in Las Vegas and wait for them to tell me who my doctor was going to be and wait for them to tell me what the treatment plan was. They were talking about trying to develop the tumor with radiation and chemo, and I have all this life and sinus tissue here. It would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
And really, it was my then fiance, now husband, who said, "No, we're not waiting. We're going to go to UCLA. We're going to go to MD Anderson and get second opinions." So, I know that those options aren't always available to people and they feel like they can't do it. But I would say if there's any shot in the world for you to do any of that, go advocate for your own treatment. Go to the doctor's office of the doctor you want. That's what we did. We went to my oncologist in Las Vegas. There was one guy that we looked up and thought he's the guy that will know how to get us through this. His name's Dr. Rupesh Parikh. We just drove there. We didn't have an appointment. Insurance didn't tell us to go there. We drove there and we talked to them and we waited about an hour. And then we were in his office in front of him and we could tell our story and show that we're a human being.
Yeah.
Show them what we had to live through and what we want. And I'm so, so grateful for that.
Well,
I'm
thank
so
God for your
grateful.
husband's instincts to do that. Thank
Hmm.
God for that goes back to, again, really listening to those little whispers of don't just sit here, go do something about it. So thank God for that, because now you're here telling your story and helping so many other people with your story. Because after the treatment, after having your jaw and everything reconstructed, and I'm going back to that question or that fear that I had, which was my identity and how I see myself and being an artist and my body is my instrument and all those things. I know this is a bigger question than just this,
Yeah.
but I know must have been incredible ups and downs. But if you can address that, coming out of having everything reconstructed and now you have to mentally heal as
Hmm.
well. How did you begin?
I will say, when you are pushed off a cliff, you must learn to fly. You must, or you'll die in a different way than
Mhm.
you did before. And it becomes the most important thing in the world to take your eyeballs and put them on the only thing that matters, which is your life and enjoying your life, loving what you're doing, getting into things that you wouldn't normally otherwise be getting into. And I really had a very deep talk with myself about why I had been in that business, what parts of it I could take into the new me,
Mhm.
what that was gonna look like, if it could be valuable, if I could create value, and if I could kind of rebrand. And there's a little bit of delusion that goes with it there because you have to you have to talk to yourself as though you are every fabulous thing that you want to be and have to give, not to stroke your own ego, but to add to the conversation.
Mhm.
There are so many other survivors of head and neck cancer and survivors of the type of surgery I had. Not a lot, but many. And it's lonely for them not to have each other. It's hard to find good advice. It's difficult to put one foot in front of the other when you don't know what to do. And I think I just told myself right away, I have to get on board. There's no resistance here. You can't. And honestly, I probably put off grieving my old life too long because it then came out at inopportune times later on over the
Yeah.
next 5 years. But eventually, you let your body go through the fire. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid, and everyone's trying to get around the fire. You can't.
You
You have to sit,
so
you have to
true.
sit and cry about it. And
It's a
you have
death.
to experience
It's
the grief.
yeah,
But
you have to experience the grief is what, and you avoiding it is, The 5 Stages of Grief is one of my favorite books by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. If you haven't read
mm,
it, it's something that it's going through a physical death, a career death, identity death, whatever the death is.
mm-hmm.
There are all of these, denial, and there's so many of the stages that it's natural to push down and not go through, but I imagine, have to go through, and I've, done it in just death of my mother, death of so many things where you go, I have to go through it,
Yeah,
or it
you
is
have
going to
to go
come
through
out,
it.
or it's going to
You have to sit
manifest
and
in your
feel your
body.
feelings.
Yeah.
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 And I did put it off for too long doing that. But I also began right away building, what are you now? What would you like to be?
Hmm.
How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about you? How do you feel about the way you look? How do you feel about the way you talk? Can you frame it in a new way? And so I think early on, and maybe even before I had processed my grief, I decided I was going to wear my scars as jewelry. I was going to draw attention to them because they're certainly not shameful. Uh, and they show the journey, almost to say, to say like, I earned this shit. I went through it. And now I want
Exactly.
you to see it, not in a way that I would want to upset anyone, but I want you to see that I think I'm beautiful.
And you are
I want,
beautiful, and that is so thank you for I just wanna emphasize what you just said. You wear your scars like jewelry, and that's so important for people who are recovering from something that is, you can see as you walk down the street, people see it. And what's interesting about the work that was done, for your jaw and everything was so beautifully done. And thank God to the doctors who do that work. And thank God to the doctors who do that work for so many people. But yes, to really, I mean, that is the most amazing mental journey to jump right in. And sometimes that what you did first and not mourning your past life is a survival tactic. I feel like I would do the same thing. You have to dive in because your mind is incredible. What it can create and what it can destroy in your life
yes,
is huge.
yes,
It's so true.
yes.
So
And
you did
even
that.
as you get on that train and you're like, all right, this is the new train, I'm doing it. There was one night when my husband and I went to a karaoke birthday party. Someone got up and started singing the number that was my band's closer in our big stage show, my a cappella band. It was a Queen song. And as I was sitting there listening to it, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I love that. And slowly in the car on the way home, I could just feel the inside of my body like unraveling and my
Mhm.
mind unraveling. And when we got to the house, I said to my husband, like, please go inside. I just need to be in the car by myself for a little bit. And he respected that and he went inside. And I I met in that moment like the absolute worst of it.
Yeah.
And it was just saying goodbye to that. But
Mhm.
also knowing that you're not saying goodbye to life, which would be 100 times worse. And looking for new ways to bring that joy back into your life. And I use the word rebranding kind of tongue in cheek, but it's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're rebranding the way that you experience that joy, and you're giving it in a new way.
And that's a very, it's interesting because I'm listening to you go through this and I'm thinking, that may be how I would have handled it as well. I think I really would have immediately gone to gratitude and gone to, I'm gonna rebrand myself, which is a very business thing to say. I would go to, my performer self of like, okay, I got that. Like, I'm gonna get through it because some people are positively wired. It seems like that's your personality. It's probably how you were, who surrounded you. But also doesn't mean you're not a human being. It doesn't mean those moments in the car aren't going to just unleash everything that you've been pushing down, because you can push it down, but it's going to still come up, and it should come up. And this is where no feeling is wrong. It's just how you express it or where you express it. Might not have been
Yeah,
good for you at the time when you were
yeah.
watching somebody else sing that song to maybe run up in rage and rip it out of their hands and scream and cry. That would have probably been the bad.
Knock over the tip jar.
Exactly. No, which, yeah, to make it a, lighthearted, like, in my mind, that would have, but hey, you know what? In my head, I go, that would have been warranted with the feelings that may have come up, but the feelings aren't wrong. It's just when it's appropriate to let it out. And I'm sure in the almost 10 years now that you've been since the journey of getting the diagnosis to now, I'm sure you've had many more of those moments in rebuilding and finding your way through and feeling all those feelings and shifting your perspective. So, I am just I knew that I was going to admire you even more by getting to talk to you, but I do. And I got a chance to see your Search for Roxy video, which I know was a while back. I know.
Oh boy.
Was about 5 years ago, yes, I think.
Yeah, it
'Cause
would have
I
been, yeah.
I actually did the same video, and
Oh, you did too?
I'll have to share mine with you. And I had starred on Broadway twice. I that was This is where your incredible, and this is something, if you're listening and you haven't seen this beautiful video, please, go and see it. Or if you don't even know what the Search for Roxy is, it's the Search for Roxy that they did for Roxy Hart in Chicago on Broadway, which is a dream role for so many people,
Oh, yeah.
myself included. I actually would play Velma or whatever,
Yeah.
but I saw that and I saw what you said prior to it, that it's like a Saturday morning, it was due Monday, and you just jumped in and you just did it. And within the video, you tell your story and how the which you didn't mention, but the doctor took tissue and bone from your leg
Yeah. To
and put it into
reconstruct my tongue and things,
to
yeah.
reconstruct your tongue and your jaw. As you are dancing in this video, you can see the scars. You see yourself just living your best life and doing this amazing choreography, which is just the original Fosse choreography. I say all this, I preface all this because I remember also seeing a video of you saying that you didn't get picked and you got seen 1,000,000 times on Facebook,
Yeah.
3,000 shares, probably more since that video. And I'm sitting here going, I absolutely love her. I love that you did the audition, because just putting yourself out there, is like can be a difficult thing. To
Yeah.
do it after that, after going through all you went through, to have your video seen 1,000,000 times, even if you had gotten the part on Broadway, less people would have seen you perform that. So you inspired so many people. So I just wanted to say that because it was so inspiring to me, who also did the contest, who on my side of the street, I had starred on Broadway twice. I didn't get picked even for the first round. And I was like, wait a minute. I was, you know, So all the things that that does to you as an artist that you were so candid and open about, I just wanted to mention it because I think you are just, the most tenacious, inspiring person, but it gives a little window into us as artists, but also you as a survivor.
Thank you. I knew, I mean, of course, I knew when I was making the video that I wasn't really auditioning for Roxy, and I I was making a piece of content, and it it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I I'm not a dancer. No.
You did
I
good.
have made well, yeah, I worked really hard that weekend. And I've mostly spent my career with dancers around trying to keep up with them. And that video, especially the first part of it, because I'll admit here on the podcast that I didn't really craft the song or the reading um, in the same way because I knew that by that point in the video, most of the viewers would have tuned out. So I really focused in on the dance because that was where my weakness was, and it was the most visually appealing for the context of telling the story in the video.
Yeah.
So I spent that weekend a singer with 2 left feet with one of my best old friends, Michael Thrush, who dropped what he was doing and came to my house and spent the weekend with me, getting me through this choreography to where I could record this video. And it was so gratifying because I knew that other people who were really struggling with either their treatment or their handicap or a new injury or um, confidence issues related to their speech might see that and feel better about what they're doing. And the the thing that happened that created the stars and that took the perfect toolkit away, that is where the art can come in. And I want anyone listening because I remember being a kid and being out on stage. I wanted to be perfect. I
Mhm.
did not want that art coming in. I didn't want anyone to know who I was. I wanted to be someone else. And I think the best performers, the best artists are the ones that they just get naked, so to speak. You know? Now, this is what it is. I spit when I talk, and, I'm at half stamina with my voice now, and I can't really dance. You'll see it in my feet, but I'm having fun. I'm having so much fun. And I am so proud of that video, and I'm so glad that, it meant something to anyone. Even if it had meant something to one person, it would have been worth it.
Yeah. And I think that's why your content has gone viral. Your content since going through this being a survivor and being really an advocate for so many people who maybe don't even know how to begin or don't have a positive spin on anything. They're just in
Yeah.
their hole of just sadness. You are pulling them out in whatever way you can in your funny ways of your videos. But also with, I as a Broadway person love the search for Roxy. I just love that you did that. And I love that you playing that role, which I'm a dancer. I think you did a fabulous job. Fosse is hard to do. And you did a great job. So I just wanted to make sure that I got to tell you that. And please, everybody, go watch that video. So also I watched it to the end. I watched it all the way through. And I heard you sing. And I was so like inspired with the fact that I heard you sing prior to your cancer and then now or with that video. And I wanted to ask, did the radiation or anything ever affect your voice, and are you still singing now?
I sing for my own pleasure.
Yeah.
But I could never actually, well, I mean, I shouldn't say never, because, I've sung at benefits. That's been the extent of it. I have enough steam and power to get through one or two numbers, and then, it really my power goes away.
Yeah.
So when I'm either singing in a video or singing live, I have to be very careful about not, further damaging my voice, but also really rehearsing at less than half most of the time,
Yeah.
and then putting longer stretches of time in between those rehearsals and the performance. Because really now the the oomph underneath, even my breath control, it is just not the same. And some of that has to do with the tension in the muscles of my neck here.
Mhm.
When you're singing, you need to be able to relax and support. And my musculature and the architecture of my neck, it no longer supports that. So that plus the damage from the radiation has affected my instrument a great deal. Can I sing? Yes. Can I turn it on good for one number? You got it. I'm your girl. And I still really enjoy singing. Um, I do hear my voice changing, and some of that's probably perimenopause too. I had quite a nice upper register, and I won't say it's gone away, but it's much harder to access that now.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being so honest about that because I was curious if it was just maybe diction and then you can just be,
No.
we all as singers have joked around where we've sung a song just on the vowel and we don't even say say the word
Yeah.
and that you could just sing
Yeah.
like I will go all day hear you sing, just on the vowel and just, all the way through it. But if it is something structurally, yes, because what you said about the neck and the head and the neck and all of it,
Mhm.
but it is such a release for a singer to just be able to even if it's just for you. I think that's so great to know that you still are singing because your voice is so beautiful and again, I'm also a believer of the mind is an incredible thing, and
Mhm.
if you do declare that you don't sing anymore, then I'm glad
Yeah.
you didn't say that because if you
Oh,
do
yeah,
make
no.
a declaration that nope, that's it, then that's what you're declaring, right?
Yeah. And I think you must, it's sort of like what we talked about before. It must be a hand-in-hand thing where there's a little bit of optimism, not toxic optimism where you're ignoring your healing,
Mhm.
but they go hand in hand. You must walk through the fire and you must plan for the future and start taking responsibility for your mindset and the way that you talk to yourself. And I would say anything you can do to avoid fatalistic language when you're talking to yourself, talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Just have that little bit of delusion. You're actually really fabulous, and people might want to hear what you have to say. And
Absolutely. I was thinking about you. My vision of you is doing a TED Talk. My vision of you is speaking around the world about your incredible life. And maybe that's not your vision, but that's how I see you as such a beacon of hope, but also what you said that don't have toxic positivity where you are ignoring all of it. You really have a good balance, and again, maybe not always, and that's okay, but you're
yeah,
really
it's
good at
definitely moments.
protecting your peace and your authenticity and vulnerability, which I believe is connected to courage. All of those things really shine through with you. Now, I know we talked a little bit on the phone about when you do put yourself out there the way that you have, with all of that vulnerability, authenticity, going through this journey of cancer, there are people who have access to you through the internet to comment and say whatever they want. And I know that
Mhm.
that must have and does at times hurt. So how do you
Yes.
protect your peace? How do you protect yourself from that?
Well, there's a few things you can do. I've actually been a bit less active online lately, just as my priorities change.
Mhm.
And I think um, that helps a bit when you're not right on the front line putting out content daily, which if you want to be a creator, you must do. I think another thing that you have to remember is that so many people are coming from a place of their own unresolved pain. And as you're looking at comments, of course it hurts to be called a name or told that something you're doing is gross or that you look bad. Um, but you have to consider what that person has experienced, is potentially going through. I had people come out of the woodwork in my social media inboxes to they were there for the purpose of trying to make me stop creating content and go away. They didn't want to see me. Now, when you don't want to see someone, it's easy. You block them on the thing, you drop
So
them, and you
true.
do the thing. But people don't know how to be in charge of curating their own feeds. So they come to your inbox and they unload on you. And they there are a lot of people who have not figured out how to heal and are angry with you for being comfortable with something that would make them stay at home with the shades down.
Yeah.
It really can make people feel very uncomfortable to see someone who looks disabled, especially if they haven't been modeled a way of normalcy with that. You know, treat people just with basic dignity when
Yeah.
they're different. So that's always been a thing where in those moments when I'm hurting, I just immediately try to key back to everything good. Like look at my life, look at what I have, look, I'm still alive. I can touch people in a positive way who need the message. That message just isn't for them yet. They're not ready. They're just not ready. And then you
Yeah.
move on to the next thing.
And hurt people hurt people.
Yeah,
That is really the thing that you it's hard. It's I imagine hard in the moment to have people just have so much anger and so much hurt coming towards you, and people who, maybe would love to have a million hits on a video or have people, there is that side of it. It's going back to what you said originally where you fall in love with this business and then you realize the more fame you get or the more people that pay attention to you, the more, you get some negative that comes with that.
oh
So you
yeah,
mentally have to be able to handle it. And, those lessons that you are learning and that perspective of looking at the person, it's a hard thing to learn to do if that's not if you're always like, well,
right,
that's terrible and they're awful and all this stuff. And you go, no, they're hurting. That's why you're not doing anything other than just being yourself and being
yeah,
authentic and trying to inspire people. And they just don't like it. And so I think with your videos, which yeah, you haven't been as active online, which is okay. You're still inspiring people and you're still having people come to you who are going through what you're going through. Maybe not necessarily cancer, but just a struggle, just identity, just how did Ellie get through it? I think they're going to you as a beacon of hope. And so it's incredible. And you're still that content will always be there for people.
yeah. I'm happy that I created a body of work where a very specific kind of person going through a very specific kind of thing that is a lonely thing and a terrible thing would be able to look up head and neck cancer on YouTube and maybe come across a video that helps them.
Yeah.
And I'm nothing's off the table. I haven't quit creating. I just I do it a bit less often. and I'm very involved with our business, which is helping creators learn how to be creators. Um,
Well, yeah,
I
that was my
I
next question was what's the next chapter? Because I remember hearing you say that life is in chapters. I believe the
oh yeah,
same. And, you sometimes don't know when those chapters are gonna shift, but that's okay. But
yeah.
what chapter or what dreams are you chasing now?
But right now, I am the VP of Culture and Communications for our company, Network Media, that my husband founded. And we work with all types of artists, entertainers, even teachers, filmmakers, just people from all walks of life that want to earn money making content, mostly on Facebook. And I write our company newsletter. And so this is
Yes,
what
look at
I've been
that.
doing, a Creative Compass. Um, I'm the editorial director of this, and I work with a graphic designer to make it beautiful and tell stories that inspire creators to create and tell them what's working well. And that has been just so, so incredible. Being able to take all the passion that I felt making my own content and with a little bit more behind the scenes, helping others do it.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
think
also
I'm
given me an avenue to work with other artists, which is
absolutely,
great.
and using all of the knowledge that you have as being an entertainer and all of those chapters that you have are kind of like pushed together for this skill, which
Yeah,
sometimes I love when you go into a next chapter where you go, all this work that I did for this one thing that I used to do, how am I gonna use it? And then you enter into something where you go, wow, I know a lot. I know a lot about posing, or I know a lot about, things that people go, well, you kind of think, is that really like important? But then you go, yes, it is, because not everybody knows how to take stage.
yeah,
Not everybody knows how to breathe. Even things like, that being a singer and a model and all the things, all the skills that you innately have that feel like they're, well, of course, everybody knows how to do this. Not everybody knows how to do it.
yeah. You
And
can never do too many pliés, right?
it's true. Well,
The
yes.
foundational things and teaching the foundational things,
Yeah.
it's really important.
See, you are a dancer. 10,000 pliés for one jump. That's what you have to do. So how if I wanted to hire you to help me with my content, how would I go about doing that?
Well, it's interesting because my services are not really for hire.
Oh,
What
you're
happens
exclusive.
is
I love it.
we
Love it.
we would we would bring you into our organization, and anyone who wants to apply to be a creator with Network Media can apply at networkmedia.com. There's an application page, and you would include your socials and say what you want to do and what you want a relationship to be like, and we come together and see if it's a good fit. And at that point, we give you access to tools and resources and our staff and bring you into our organization. And you would attend events with us and meet other creators, and you would learn the foundational skills of building up the page. And all of your content would belong to you. And we own the pages that you would publish to. So it's very easy to come together and work together. It's very easy to resolve if it's not a good fit. You keep your own content, that's for you. And yeah,
That's
super
incredible, and
fun.
that's
Super
so,
fun.
so smart, and so, just for this time when we're all trying to, find a way through and create content, inspire people. I
My
feel like
husband gets all the credit for that. Really, he put everything together in such an amazing way. I feel like I've learned more about business from him than I ever did in school or in college. And um, yeah, it's been a wild, educational experience. Yeah,
well, I think your husband, my husband, and you and I all need to have dinner because we all, it's I think it's the best thing when you have a partner that lifts you up and that
yeah.
also lifts you up in business and teaches you things, but you guys lift each other up, and it sounds like you struck gold just like myself.
He's been the most incredible. I'm so excited to meet your husband because I know for me, when I got sick, we were about 3 years into dating, and I think a lot of people quietly thought they knew how that would end. but he never even blinked. He was there every step of the way, and he just always made sure that he was, learning what to do, helping me figure things out, uh, providing resources, and I'm so fortunate about that, and I can't talk about wellness and how I was able to get well without acknowledging the privilege I had with a network of people who loved me and wanted me to get well, and that I know it seems like not everyone has that, so I'm very fortunate.
Yeah. And thank God for him advocating for you and all of the
Mhm,
things, because that's thank God that's why you're here, sharing your journey with all of us. Is there any parting words that you would like to leave with anyone who is going through a struggle, whether cancer or not?
mhm. See someone, go to the doctor. I think, we live in a scary age where everything's politicized, but please, if you feel something is wrong in your body, go get treatment. If you don't like your doctor, find another doctor
Mhm.
and find those rituals and routines that help you reinforce in your mind that you're taking steps toward your recovery. Because everyone would be very sad to lose you. And far too often we let things go too late. And the scary thing is not finding the cancer, but the scary thing is succumbing to it. So go to the doctor. That's what I'll say. Go find someone you like.
Yes, thank you for that, and thank you so, so much for being on the podcast and sharing your journey. Your story is honestly a testament to resilience, determination, tenacity, and just the beauty of authenticity, which I think you just
Thank
radiate
you.
from all sides of you. So thank you. And you
You're
really
so
do.
lovely and wonderful. It's such a pleasure to get to talk to you, and I cannot wait to meet you in person.
It's going to happen. I'm manifesting it as soon as
Yeah, me
possible.
too. It's bubbling up.
But thank you so much for being here. And you remind us all to protect our peace, to honor our truth. That's our greatest gifts. And you're a reminder that challenges do not define us. And your perspective, your persistence, your willingness to move forward mentally and then, physically, that shapes your life, and we're just so glad that you're here inspiring so many people. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who needs a little inspiration today, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. Until next time, remember bliss is your birthright, and have vision for what you want, but be grateful for where you are every single day. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Yay! Oh my goodness. I could have talked to you forever. I really,
Same,
I mean,
same.
I just think you're incredible.
I wanna flip the table around and do that.
Let's do it. I
I
actually don't,
can't wait to spend time with you and get to dig
yeah.
into some more of you and who you are. I'm so grateful for the opportunity, Mel. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Oh my gosh. This is, I said I was nervous for Huey Lewis, and I was nervous for a little bit nervous for you, but just because I think you're just I literally when you sit back and get to research people and you go, thank you, Hammond, for introducing us, but like I'm thinking like how did this woman come into my life, and how can I just be around her like a little puppy dog and just like soak up all her
It's so
amazingness?
funny because I've been sweating a little bit about meeting you too, because like obviously living the dream, doing your thing, and now you have like the best of both worlds where you have your beautiful family and you can go into your acting and projects when they come up and like what an amazing, amazing thing.
Thank you. And what's funny is I say it's a curated life that people see, and there are cracks and there's gaps and
Right.
there's identity crisis, and there's, you become a mom and you go, "Oh my gosh, I love this, but I'm also mourning my former self." And and having moments that I've had where I've not had anyone call me and thinking, shaking my fists and crying and going, "I did all this work and no one's calling me." All those things that we have those moments in the car, right? We have to
Yep.
have those moments. And then you go, no, I would have not been able to have enjoyed my kids as babies if I was still running
Yeah.
around doing 1,000 things. And my identity, which, not to get into another podcast episode, but my identity is being on stage. That's where I get where I would get my value. And I was
Yeah.
like, I
That's
don't have any value, just me. Who wants to just talk to me? You know what I mean? Isn't that funny? And
It's
all that's
so funny. And now look at you. I mean, this podcast is like a perfect way to kind of literally broadcast to the universe that you love what you do. You love bringing in people's stories and being a storyteller. And
Told you
it,
so.
in a way, it puts you on top of the pile. Like, I think people want to work with people who have a full life and do things like this. And
yeah,
yeah, you're fantastic.
thank you.
You're
Well,
doing your
that's
best
Hammond.
thing.
Hammond is like we're just Hammond's muses. That's Hammond's muses. That's difficult to say. Hammond's muses. But
But it sounds like an
literally,
album, doesn't it?
it sounds like an album or a
Hammond's
lyric. It
Muses.
does, Hammond's muses. But or we're Charlie's Angels. Hammond's Angels, maybe?
Sure. I'd be well protected because a bunch of them are like stunt women and actresses. And
We need a redhead. We need a redhead.
Yeah, yeah. I know with you.
But him connecting us and him telling me to do this podcast. When I stopped my other podcast, it was really, I give all the credit to him and throw it to the man behind the curtain, if you will. The man
amazing.
behind the podcast.
That's so cool. What a cool thing.
Well, we are going to see each other in Vegas or LA or wherever we happen to, or you want to come to Montana? Please come.
yeah, if you want to come here,
yes.
you can stay here and ski because we're got plenty of room. You can come and stay
Yeah.
with us and you go ski.
I love it. I know that I will see you. Maybe even in 2026.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to happen.
Don't
I
be
feel like,
strangers. Text me anytime, even if you're just like,
Well,
you know.
I do think that you two need to book another conversation because I think there's more to be said
there's so
about
much
each other.
more.
So I do
Thank you
think
for saying that, because I think so too. I'm like, I didn't say this and we didn't talk about this and there's so much more. And you know, I do love the conversation element of it as well. You know, in doing interviews, I love that as well. But like also, if Elly, you want to, you know, have another episode and we do something that's more of a back and forth as artists or whatever ideas come up as you get off. Sometimes when I get off an interview, I have all these other things that flood my brain that I
Yeah.
wanted to talk to you about. So when that will happen, because it will, I'm going to write all that down and then we'll schedule another time.
We should do something in person too. I don't know if that's, if it would ever work out, if you were on a business trip at the same time and you had time to do a live recording, but we have a podcast studio at the Network Media office.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there's something we could do together.
Yeah. I love
That's
that.
in the
I
same
think
room together. Yeah.
I would love, I mean, that is my dream, is to be in the same room with everybody because, you know, we're live performers. The energy's different. We know how that feels. So that's the dream. But yes, I think that's going to happen too. Ooh, lots of plans.
Yeah.
No, I think
I love it.
there's something cool here. I like the energy between you guys. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Me too. So
Well, I'm always here. You know where to find me. And
yeah.
I'll track you down if I'm in your neck of the woods.
Sounds a little threatening, but I love it.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. And I'll be texting you and let you know like when we post this. And I'm going to be on vacation for a couple weeks, which is nice.
Ooh.
So I'll be
Wow.
back October 4th. I'm going to Disney World, and then we're going to do the music of Fleetwood Mac in Myrtle Beach
Amazing.
I get to go be Stevie Nicks for a little bit. So that's always
You're gonna
fun.
have the best
So much fun.
time.
It's gonna be so fun.
I'm at the phone report.
Yeah, absolutely. I will give you the full report for sure. So thank you so
Amazing.
much. Thank you.
Thank you
And we'll
both.
talk soon.
Love you both. Mwah. I know I'll talk
Love
to
you
you really
too.
soon.
Yes.
Bye.